6 years ago that I bought my first track car and started doing track days here, and then it's where I had my first proper race with GT4 in 2023.
So what drew you to it for a start? I mean, clearly you like cars.
Yeah, I've always been a fan of cars. Then I was getting right into my F1 and supercars and that, so I thought, oh, let's give this a try. So I went and bought a nice off-the-road WRX and then built on that from there, and yeah, now we're here with GT4.
The path for Randall Racing, when you look at it, it's actually been quite a steep curve. And instead of building your own thing in that production car phase, you actually went and acquired something from Europe, didn't you?
Yeah, that's right. So Dad had his M3 road car, and then I was looking at doing something similar, but by the time we invested the money in a road car to getting it to where it needs to be, we could get something built by a BMW factory, and we imported our first GT4 car from Europe. That's when GT4 was just kicking off with the Prodi cars. So that's when I thought, oh, I've got a race car that can enter a category, so let's see if we can have a go.
How daunting was all that? I mean, because you'd only been doing track days what seems like a handful of years beforehand.
Yeah, that's right. So I remember my heart was beating out of my chest. But yeah, it was an awesome experience. Everyone welcomed me in with open arms, so it made it very enjoyable.
John Bauer was a part of the growth for you and for the team. How did he help and what sort of benefits did he provide?
Yeah, he was huge. So definitely getting us off the ground, getting us in communication with the right people, and then helping me develop as a driver. Yeah, he was instrumental to where we are.
2025 has been a breakout year for Monochrome GT4 Australia. But you do something different to some of the co-driver combos in the field. You do it solo, don't you?
Yeah. So obviously I did last year with JB, and that was awesome fun. And he has always been an advocate of me and trying to get me as much experience and skill as I can, as quickly as I can. So he said, you're up to it, do it by yourself. And I've been really enjoying it.
What would you like it to sort of ultimately become?
For me, it's fun. Where it takes me, I don't know. I like to, one day do some big GT3 races, maybe internationally. Yeah, just be as competitive as I can against some really good drivers here in the field.
We've seen an influx of name drivers and quality marks. What's been the biggest challenge for you?
Yeah, just keeping myself competitive. This year's been great. Last year, the grids were a bit smaller. If we had a bad race, you'd still sort of finish 4th or 5th because of the smaller numbers. But this year, it's awesome to see pretty much 30 cars. So if you have a bad race, you're out of the points. So it's ever more important to sort of keep consistent and keep getting those results for the championship.
Just give us a summary of Randall Racing from what it began as and what it looks like today.
Yeah, well, it's a snowball. It's got out of control very quickly. Started off, we had a tilt trailer towed behind my car, but now we've got the transporter, the workshop in Braeside, so it's growing quickly, but me and the old boy are having a lot of fun in the meantime. Awesome
to chat with you, and I love the fact that we've done it here at Sandown where it all began. Have a fantastic weekend.
Yeah, thank you, mate. Thank you.
That is a great story that underscores what GT4 is all about, taking those production-based sports cars and making them race cars and enabling amateur racers to make that transition as smoothly and as simply as possible on the pathway. Greg Russ and Charlie Barlow with you. We welcome our international viewers now. I'm in a bit of trouble here because I thought this would be a good place to do a piece to camera, but the wind has really picked up. That's going to be a factor in this race. As we come in, though, I mean, the array of machinery, how close this championship is. It has been a real beacon, a real star of the Australian motorsports scene this year, hasn't it?
You're absolutely right, Rusty, and we can feel the anticipation building as we head into their first 60-minute race of the weekend. Qualifying was a buzz, wasn't it? Both qualifying sessions. So we'll give you a little bit of a lay of the land for who is lining up first on pole for race 1. So we've got Rylan Gray and George Meadowkey. They're in the number 35 Mustang on silver pole. Silver and pole is held by Ryder Quinn and Steve Jackick in number 3 BMW, which I love how the manufacturers are represented here. And the AM pole, it's the 777 of Nathan Callaghan and Chris Lillis. And a Porsche. Isn't it great how the different manufacturers are so widely represented and so close in the times, Rusty?
27 cars in this field. Some real rising stars of Australasian motorsport are in the field as well. If you are perhaps a Toyota fan, there are Supras represented, BMW doing an amazing job. There are McLarens, Mercedes, Porsches, as you say, and a whole lot more. A lot to look forward to here. As we detailed in the beginning of our coverage this morning, we're into a very exciting second half of the season. So what happens here could have a big bearing on how ultimately those titles, those 3 different divisions, if you like, of GT4 Australia will play out.
Absolutely, and tomorrow we see Tom Heyman and Max Gagan on pole, so it could be completely different this time tomorrow, and that is what is so exciting about GT4 racing. Miraculously, Rusty, there is no rain right now. Could that play a factor as well?
Let's keep it that way. We'll have lots of updates from the pit lane as the race itself unfolds. Chris Stubbs in the lane, but right now let's take you to commentary with the action about to get underway. Here is Thomas Randall alongside Richard Craill.
Thanks, team. In a blustery pit lane here at Sandown, and there's no rain at the moment, but there is some in the vicinity. We'll see if it gets here. We've been threatening it all day, playing that standard Sandown game, and it's yet to arrive. So let's see what happens in the next 1 hour as we launch into the second half of the Monochrome GT4 Australia Championship season. It has been a ripping year. Let's have a look at some of our pole sitters in the Pro Am Cup. Nathan Callahan and Chris Lillis in the Porsche Silver Am, and on the outside of the front row outright is Ryder Quinn and Steve Jackick. Rylan Gray will start the Lubramax Mustang alongside George Medicki. They were on pole in the Silver Cup class. So 3 different brands on pole position in the 3 classes. 3 different brands leading the 3 championships this season as well. The full grid rolls out. Watch out for Cody Bircher and Tim Lay. We think they're in pretty good shape in this one. McCutcheon and Quinn have been good in the Toyota Supra. Aaron Cameron and Ryan Hansford as well for Multi-Spares Racing. Championship leaders in the silver class, Tom Heyman and Max Gagan out of 7. The Audi has been pacey this weekend, Blake Purdy and Daniel Price. So to the 888 AMG, probably didn't maximise qualifying, Jared Hughes and Summer Rintol. Crick and Campbell will be fast. We find behind them the Supra from GWR of Daniel Frugas and Tim Berryman alongside our AM Cup pole sitters. Jacob Lawrence, who we heard from for the start of the session, is the leader in the AM Cup Championship. And then a McLaren, Zach Suter and Glenn Merwin are next. Jake Camilleri making his debut. Scratch the Merc out. It's a Ford Mustang now. He's changed brands. Shane Smollen, he's been the form driver in AM, but starts a long way back in this one so far. We then go back and find Marcus Liddell and Jared Kite in their Ford Mustang. A long way back, Nathan Morecambe and Lockie Hennock in the second of the Method Motorsport McLarens out of 23rd on the road. They have got a job to do today. And right from the very back of the grid will be Mark Griffith in the AR19 Mercedes AMG. This team has had an enormous job getting back to 3 cars. John Nikolowski had a big crash at Sydney Motorsport Park earlier this year. They have retooled and got another car. So his original car will be rebuilt eventually, with the team planning to go to 4 Mercedes AMGs. But they've got another chassis in. It is the car made before the one Griffo's driving, so they're brothers. And that team has worked exceptionally well to the point where they got it turned around for a quick little test day before coming to Sandown. So well done to the AR19 Motorsport stable for getting back to 3 cars for the first time in 2 rounds this weekend at Sandown. That's the grid. That's the scene. Turn 1 will be a rush. Thomas Randall has 27 GT4 cars. Head down there in about 3 minutes' time.
It's going to be on, isn't it? And we know that battle for the outright spoils in the championship is between that 25 Method Motorsport McLaren of Heyman and Gagan, and then our pole sitter, Rylan Gray and George Medicki. So the Heyman machine's out of position number 7, like you touched on before. So they're going to want to try and work their way up the grid. But Charlie mentioned it before, it is getting a bit cooler and a bit windier. And looking at the radar, I hate to be that guy, Crailsy, but it does appear to be some rain.
Spit it out. Yeah, it's on the way.
I hate to say it, but
it's okay.
I think it could approach during this race.
Well, we'll find out. The teams will have to adapt. They might hope it happens 25 to 35 minutes into the race so they can take the opportunity of the mandatory pit stop that comes halfway through a GT4 race and dive into pit lane, put wet weather tyres on while serving a driver change and their mandatory pit stop in the race. So they'll be hoping for that. If it doesn't, well, gloves are off, make it up as you go, and we love that as they rack them and stack them side by side and get set for a rolling start. So Ford Mustang and BMW on the front row of the grid. It's good to see the Supras competitive too. And Matt McCutcheon, a member of the Tony Quinn Foundation-backed young drivers from New Zealand. This is his first drive in Monochrome GT4 since Queensland Raceway last year, and he has been electrifying. He did the job qualifying that car 3rd for this. Cody Bircher from Orange in country New South Wales, like his teammate Tim Lay, goes on the outside of the 2nd row of the grid. AM class leader is Nathan Callahan, who starts the Porsche, the Legrand car 777 right there, middle of shot, and that starts a little bit further back but leads their class battle.
Everyone just lining up in the 2x2 formation, using the supercar style start line, which is a bit further up the straight, not the traditional start line here. So it just gives everyone a chance to get into 2x2 formation here as Roland Gray will lead the field. And with the red lights on, it's going to be on, Crailsy.
Mustang has plenty of grunt and torque to launch off the line. The BMWs have been strong though. The battle is on. The second half of the Monochrome GT4 Australia season starts right about now. Big start from the Porsche, Nash Morris. He's on the right-hand side of our drone shot. The blue nose of the Cayman slices up the inside of the Supra, and he's going to get one spot and possibly two. Bircher around the outside, 3 cars out wide. One of them too was the Audi R8, and around goes... Is it Jay Murray? It is, the 16-year-old in his first race start has been caught up in the middle of the pack in the Morris car. The BMW spins around for McElrea. He'll do it from the back of the field. Yeah,
good start there for Bircher and Morris. Morris got a ripping reaction there when the lights went out and moved straight up into 4th position, had the inside line as Gray leads the field and just trying to get a little bit more temperature in the front tyres there, a bit of weaving down the back straight. First time through over turn 6 down into Dandenong Road. Everyone's so far behaving and everyone just covering the line into Dandenong Road. No one wanting to try and attack or go for an overtake, as I think that's Lawrence in the background. Is that side by side with one of the Method Motorsport McLarens? And there's Bircher. Is that around the outside of Quinn?
Great move in the penultimate corner. Gives him the inside run for the final corner and nails the spot. So Cody Bircher up 2 spots in an aggressive opening lap for the Central West Prestige BMW. Quinn back to 3rd, Morris 4th. Aaron Cameron's up some spots. The loser on the opening lap has been Tom Heyman, who's down 3 spots from his starting position in that Method Motorsport McLaren. And out wide, indicator on, it's busy here. Ryder Quinn looking to fight back. Nash Morris doesn't give him any room. Contact, and the Black Wolf Bimmer gets turned around.
Yeah, can he get it out of there? That's going to be really tricky on that incline, and that's, yeah, contact between the number 3 of Quinn and Morris. Morris just showing the nose there. And was he far enough up? Oh, it's a tough one from that angle, but there's ultimate contact, and it puts the number 3, backs it into the tyre wall. Wasn't massive contact.
It was the lightest of contacts. Just a little glance. Nash Morris was a long way up on that curb on the inside. Certainly a long way down the inside of the number 3 car. So that results in Ryder Quinn pointing the wrong direction and right to the back of the field. Nash Morris 3rd. A winner out of that as well has been Aaron Cameron, the blue nose of the yellow multi-spares Mustang, up a couple of spots and being followed by Aaron Seaton. Matt McCutcheon has dropped a couple of spots in the Supra, but still runs 6. Jared Hughes has got ground. He's the one moving across to the middle of the racetrack. The Mercedes AMG from 888 Race Engineering. Got Blake Purdy behind, the South Australian in the Audi R8, and then Daniel Frugas in the second of the Supras in the race. Lockie Dalton rounding out the top 10.
Morris under a lot of pressure now from Aaron Cameron, who's got up to speed in that Ford Mustang, and Cameron turns Morris, and Morris is now back to front at turn 4. I think he's actually got has he got a bog there?
He's going to get out.
He's going to be able to get it out there. He's going to be careful because there's still a few cars. Look at the damage on the left front. I think that's the contact between him and Ryder Quinn, and it was only a lap ago that there was contact between himself and Quinn was going around, and now Nash has gone around. So there's a replay, and here's Aaron Cameron, goes for the inside move, and he's a long way out. Nash has tried to close the door there, and
it's a hard call, that one, isn't it? Because it is a legitimate passing place, and we see that move made so often. The margin between getting up the inside enough, and that is tiny. And unfortunately for Flush, it's ended up with the TechWorks Porsche pointing in the wrong direction. So 2 laps, 2 corners apart, and that car's been involved in both of them. And the most frustrated person on the planet will be Rob Woods, the team boss who's watching from home on the Gold Coast. He's been benched for a little while, has Woodsy. He's on the mend from a few little health niggles. I know you won't have enjoyed that, Rob, but it's been a good performance from TechWorks so far this weekend. They've got the pace to challenge. Zoe Woods will jump in that car for the second half of the race.
Yeah, that's tough because, you know, we're 3 laps into this race. Crail's in to be turned around essentially, or be backwards when you're in a top 3 position. is so costly.
Well, it is, but if you can recover in a race, it's a GT4 race. You can use a little bit of strategy, you can use some safety car.
And if there's some rain on the horizon...
It's long enough a race for you to bounce back and recover some points. I know that's incredibly glass half full of us, but that's what we're here for. So there remains hope. And then, of course, you get to do it all again tomorrow.
Well, we're 3 laps in and race control. It's going to be very busy already. 2 incidents, one at turn number 2 between Morris and Quinn, and the following lap, Quinn and Aaron Cameron. So be interested to see how that gets played out with Motorsport Australia race control. But as it stands, Ryland Gray out in front by just over 3.5 seconds to Cody Bircher. And Ryland Gray, they'll have an extra 15 seconds in the pit stop. No extra pit stop compensation times for Cody Bircher or Aaron Cameron for that matter. So those 2 cars are at the moment sitting pretty.
If you're unfamiliar with GT4 racing, each car is given a mandatory pit stop time. It's the amount they must spend in pit lane, and it's taken from the entry to pit lane to the control line at the exit. And here it's 110 seconds. But if you win a race, you get 15 seconds extra added to your mandatory pit stop time. If you're second, it's 10 seconds, and if you're third, it's 5. So it just brings you back to the field the race after you've had a win. These guys have no pit stop penalty time, and they are going very quickly with Aaron Cameron, Blanchard Racing driver, who's been drafted into this squad, who's been part of the Peters Motorsports stable for a long time. So Ryland Gray, 4 seconds now out in front, head down, Lubermax Mustang up, driving away. Bircher in second place, Silver Am leader is Aaron Seaton. Aaron Cameron, little timing glitch there, it's Seaton just behind. So Cameron leading his class. The Am class leader remains Nathan Callahan in the Porsche, run by Method Motorsport.
And there is the 777 Callahan trying to go down the inside of Cameron Crick as they both get past the Mercedes of Lockie Dalton. So that's a 2-for-1 deal there for the 777 Porsche. And now he's just covering the inside on Cameron Crick, and they all just shuffle back in nicely. Probably what we would have all liked to have seen on the second lap at that same corner. So very nice exchange of positions there between those 3.
It's an oddly quiet performance from the D.A. Campbell Transport Mustang this weekend, Thomas, for Cam Crick and Dean Campbell of the Mustang Brigade, and all of them have been pretty strong all weekend long. They have been a little bit under the radar so far, delivered on the kind of pace they've had all season long. This is busy, a little Inter-Toyota battle here. Toyota have got a presence here at the racetrack, spare parts container for their customer racing program. 2 Toyota Supras, a couple more we understand on the way to this part of the world. Tony that is, using it as a way to promote and support young drivers in his stable. Hugo Allen, who's the GR86 champion in New Zealand over summer, raced that car earlier this year. Chris White Jr. drove it, most recently at Queensland Raceway, and now Matt McCutcheon behind the wheel. Daniel Frugas has got some spots in that car he's sharing with Tim Berryman, run by GWR Australia. And there is the Silver Class Championship leader, Tom Heyman, still only 9th at the moment in the Method Motorsport McLaren Artura.
So Aaron Cameron's up 3 spots, Aaron Seaton up 4, Jared Hughes up 4, Blake Purdy up 4, and the Jared Hughes Mercedes, I think, is showing its speed here in these conditions at the moment, setting the fastest lap of the race, and once again on another quicker lap, so up into position number 5. Now, just looking at the times, I think they've got an extra 10 seconds to add. So Ryland Gray, their leader, has an extra 15 seconds. Jared Hughes, who sits in 5th position, has an extra 10 seconds. And then it's actually Nash Morris, who's all the way down in 19th with an extra 5 seconds. So there's quite a lot of cars there that could be looking good once the pit stop sequence begins and finishes, which the sequence begins at 25 minutes at the start of the sequence, 25 minutes into the race start. So when there's about 35 minutes remaining, and that'll open and stay open for about 10 minutes.
Correct. And in that time, they need to complete that stop, and those that will change drivers can do so. So things just settle down now with Ryland Gray 5.3 seconds out in front. Cody Bircher second, Aaron Cameron third, and leading Silver Am with Aaron Seaton just in behind. This is the battle we're watching now. Jared Hughes up a couple of spots, as you mentioned there. He is 888 Race Engineering, running the JGI Mercedes AMG. They've been strong. So the reason they've got that extra 10 seconds to serve is because they were second outright and in the silver class in the most recent race at Queensland Raceway. Blake Purdy up some spots to 6th in the Nippy's Audi, then Matt McCutcheon, Daniel Frugas in 8th position, Tom Heyman in 9th, Nathan Callahan up to 10th position in the Porsche, still leading the way in the AM class. We're watching Jake Camilleri, who is running 12th outright, silver class, in the stunningly Mobil 1 liveried Ford Mustang. He switched across from a Mercedes AMG between rounds to be in the same medal as his Gomersal Racing teammates Aaron Seaton and Jason Gomersal. It's a really good looking race car. You don't have to comment, it's all right, I understand.
I can say it looks good, just maybe, you
nice.
know.
No,
it does look
that's
good.
Fine. Nice work. So now we just get into a little holding pattern as Jared Hughes looks down the inside for position on Seaton and gets the spot. So that's 4th position changing hands, and the Mercedes going forward. Up and down pit lane, there was a general feeling that the big V8 heavier cars like the AMG and especially the Mustang would be at their best at a track like this. Power down important, changeable surfaces, they're a little bit heavier, so they've got ride control. And it's sort of proving to the point, I suppose, because the BMWs have been really strong, the Fords have been really strong, and the Mercs have been strong as well.
And I'll tell you what, the McLaren of Heyman's been struggling there. Yeah. They've actually dropped positions, so they started in 7th, and even with Morris and Quinn going around in front, they've actually lost ground, so they're down in position number 9. So,
and this is potentially quite a large swing in the Silver Class Championship, so only 6 points between Tom Heyman and Max Gagan, Rylan Gray and George Miedeke for the lead in silver halfway through this year's Monochrome GT4 Australia Championship. Rusty.
Krause, probably a little remiss of me this morning when we caught up with SRO CEO Ben McMillan not to talk about the fact that Mustang Cup will be a part of that very exciting 2026 calendar we spoke about. This is an old colleague and friend in Ben Nightingale on the Ford side. This is cool. Tell fans about it. It's going to be a part of Shannons SpeedSeries next year, isn't it?
Super exciting to have Mustang Cup coming to SRO SpeedSeries next year. So Mustang Cup is Ford's new global one-make series. It's a production-based Mustang dark horse that we wrap on the production line in Detroit, goes to Multimatic, gets all the nice race bits put in, production drivetrain, and then gets shipped out here. We've had incredible interest in this category since we announced it last month, and we're excited. We're going to have a big grid of these on the grid in 2026.
And the little teaser for us in some respects was that a few Aussies got to go over and play at Le Mans recently. That is mega. Yeah, it was a fantastic opportunity for 7 guys to head over from Australia and New Zealand, including the late great Tim Miles. That was his last big race weekend, which is pretty cool for us, and obviously that was a tragedy. Andy Miedeke went over, and he's been trying to race at Le Mans for literally 40 years, and he told me this most amazing story that he had a drive stitched up in 85, and he was going to be racing a Porsche 956, and then it fell over, and it just never happened, and he never went. So he ticked the bucket list, and a lot of guys did. Quinny went over, Cam McLeod, have to mention Cam, absolutely brained all the internationals. So yeah, it was a really good opportunity to show what Aussies are about. And I think that car in Australia, big V8, rear-wheel drive, they move around a lot. That's going to be good to watch. Well, you can tell he's excited. We are too. It's all coming all up to part of that awesome calendar we talked about this morning for 20 years.
Thanks, Rusty. Nice work. Cody Birch is under pressure here, and Aaron Cameron's going to send it round the outside at the top of the hill, and he's going to go round the outside at the top of the hill and get the spot. Big pass for the multi-spares Mustang, and Bircher now finds himself under pressure from Jared Hughes. Now all of that kicked off on the exit of turn 4. The BMW had a big moment on the exit of the corner, got up on the curb, slid round. Hughes goes past as well. So Bircher goes from 2nd down to 4th position in the space of a couple of corners. It took a pretty mighty move from Aaron Cameron to make it work, though.
So this is what I just caught in the background. So Bircher taking a lot of curb, and then just he sideways gets up on the exit ripple strip on the concrete, has a massive tank slapper, very lucky not to lose it even more, and he lost the momentum down the back straight, and a lot of respect between those two over turn 6. That could have been really nasty, and fair play to all three of them as Bircher has another moment there. just completely lost the grip or lost a bit of momentum in these last couple of laps. But yeah, cracking move around the outside, which we normally don't see around turn 6, and then a nice move around the outside of the second last corner for Jared Hughes. So a lot of racing respect given between the three. Kudos to them. And there's actually a little bit of damage on the front of the Jared Hughes machine in the grille. You can just see the left side of that grille. He must have made some very small contact, but a couple of those pillars have some damage. So I would say very superficial, but nothing to be afraid of.
Train spotting with Thomas. Good pick up that. You got better eyes than I do. This is busy stuff. Aaron Seek now looking up the inside. Blake Purdy's in this as well in the Audi. So the mid-mount V10 German sports car. It's a detuned version, basically, of the GT3 version we'll see a bit later on in GT World Challenge Australia. This is the cool thing about this category, is you get battles like this all the way through the field. Bircher, it feels like he's a sitting duck at the moment. Seaton looking down the inside, Purdy looking around the outside of the two of them. The Nippy's Audi is going to the front in a hurry. Everyone trying to race their way towards a pit stop. Now, not long until the pit stop window opens. And you and I are thinking along the same lines, is that we think everyone will try and stay out for as long as they possibly can in case the rain comes. The longer you can go into the pit stop window, the better chance you've got of catching a little bit of rain and maybe chucking wets on. Rusty?
Just keeping an eye on a few people who are literally putting their helmets on as we speak, Krause, to get ready for that stop at the Buckby Motorsport team, for example, one of the Supras as well. So the other talking point down here, when you wander along the pit lane, the sprinkles of rain are really light, kind of against your face. It's cool, you can feel that. I just said to Chaz Mostert from Method Motorsport, is this an issue? Is it a thing, right now? And he said that the drivers are not saying that on the radio, so nothing to be concerned about right now.
Gee, you paint a picture, Rusty. There's light rain on your face as you amble down towards Dandenong Road. Almost romantic afternoon out at Sandown Raceway. Change of position, Jared Hughes got past Aaron Cameron. We saw that when we heard from Rusty. So the Mercs got up to second position from the back of the top 10. That's a big drive from Hughesy. We'll hand that car over to the very impressive Summer Rintoul, who's been fast all season. Co-driver for the 888 Race Engineering JGI Mercedes. They have got a little bit of pit stop time. In fact, these two cars, first and second on the road, have got the two longest pit stops. But the margin is 8.2 seconds, Ryland Gray to Jared Hughes. So what Ryland's done, Thomas, is negate a lot of the disadvantage they're going to have by having that longer pit stop.
And if it stays as it is, and we don't see a BMW M safety car here, another 10 minutes potentially out on track for Ryland with this pace that he's doing. I mean, you may as well. You're in clear air and you're pumping out these lap times, just trying to build up as big of a gap as you can to negate that extra 15 seconds. And for Jared Hughes, I mean, he's worked his way up from 9th to 2nd, and his last lap was a 14.0, albeit while overtaking Aaron Cameron. So as he crosses the line now, Jared Hughes has about 0.4 of a second on Ryland Gray. So he's catching Ryland Gray and he's dropping Aaron Cameron. So this is really working out as good as it can for those two out in front.
Nathan Callahan still leading the AM class, by the way. Now, just caught this back of shot as they were coming out of the final corner. Change of position. Tom Heyman got past Daniel Frugas in the GWR Supra, but the reason that happened was because Frugas had a big crack at McCutcheon in the Game Over Supra for 7th position, and it didn't quite pay off. So he lost momentum, and the McLaren was able to slide through and gain a spot up to 8th position.
But at the moment, that car, the 25, is actually 16 seconds behind the race leader. So even with the extra 15 seconds for the Ryland Gray car, if you think about it mathematically, he should still come out ahead of the 25 McLaren. Yep. So the buffer that Ryland Gray's been able to put on this car and the field, to be fair, has been very impressive. So we're not far away now from, I guess, the pit window opening. And then you've got 10 minutes of that pit window to stay open before you have to get a mandatory pit stop done. So we'll see what the field does here.
Just a few other little housekeeping bits and pieces. Jacob Lawrence, we heard from him before the race. He's the current leader in the AM Class Championship in the Randall Racing BMW, running 15th outright, 3 positions on the road behind Nathan Callahan who leads that class, and Marcus Liddell is third in the AM class at the moment in his Ford Mustang. And that car over to Jared Kite. Ryder Quinn has recovered to 18th position outright on the road after his dramas on lap 2. And after further dramas, Nash Morris 15th position after that contact a lap later at turn 4. So the recovery for the TechWorks car is going okay. He's 29 seconds away from the lead. He's got 5 seconds of pit stop time. If they can climb somewhere towards the top 10 outright, I think they'll be within a very happy group by the end of the day. Well, as happy as you can be having been turned around.
Very much so.
Still no word from Motorsport Australia Race Control on that yet either. They'll take their time to make those decisions. They've got a long race for it to play out as this battle continues, and Heyman finds himself under pressure. Frugas has been noted for shortcutting, which is the run down the hill over at turn 7 there, so he's got a little warning that pops up automatically on the timing screen, trying to attack the back of Tom Heyman's McLaren.
So the pit window's just now opened about 30 seconds ago, so around about the 33 minutes remaining mark, and that'll open until, I guess, 23 minutes remaining. And just saw a good shot there of the 777 Porsche of Callahan, who is our class leader in AM, 12th outright, and his next class rival is Jacob Lawrence, who is about 4 seconds further adrift. So the 777 Porsche are doing a great job in the class lead at the moment.
The other thing to look at is Ryland Gray's lead has diminished. It was 8.5. It's now 6.5. Jared Hughes is pulling time out of the Ford Mustang. So all that good work that the Lubrimax team did early with Ryland Gray pushing on and clear racetrack and head down getting margin has just been a little bit negated lately, and a little bit of traffic as well perhaps. So Hughes closing in. That will just put a little bit more pressure on that team when it comes to pit stop time. Nathan Morecambe is in the lane in the second of the Method Motorsport cars from 26th position. They are having a challenging day, the McLaren squad this weekend, and John Nikolovsky is in the lane as well in the AR19 Motorsport Mercedes. That's his return to the sport, remember we touched on after that big crash earlier this year.
Yeah, I think it's going to be Mediki versus Summer-Intel when we finish the pit stop sequence, because that gap's now 5.3 seconds between first and second, and the Rintoul Hughes car has got to serve 5 seconds less than the stop, and it's now down to 4.7 seconds between first and second. Ryland Gray, as it stands, if he were to pit, would drop himself in around about 7th position, and there's Camilleri
in and out.
In and out.
Yep, so he drives the car, jump out, close the door, jump back in, and then settle in for the long haul. So Jake's elected to pit early. Let's see what the leaders decide to do. And if you're Triple Eight, do you go earlier or do you go in response to what the Mediki Motorsport team do? They're going to continue on for as long as they possibly can. But they're in clear racetrack. I mean, there's no reason for Triple Eight to pit early, isn't it? Because it's more than likely just to drop them out into traffic. But last time round, 1 minute 13.9 for Jared Hughes. Ryland Gray, 15.0. So Hughes was 1.1 seconds faster last lap alone than the race leader. Yeah. The gap's now 4.2. So he's charging up to the back of the Lubrimax Mustang. There's a bit in this. The other one worth focusing on, I think, is Aaron Cameron and Ryan Hansford. Very evenly matched, the two of them. They're third on the road, 8.5 seconds off the outright lead. They're leading the Silver Am class. There is the multi-spares Ford Mustang, patched up and rebuilt like brand new after the massive crash at Queensland Raceway last time out. They've got no pit stop time whatsoever to deal with. So they are in a really good position to grab track position once all the stops are done.
Yeah, it's going to be on once these once the pit stop sequence is completed, Crailsy. As we look at this multi-spares Mustang, Aaron Cameron's been doing a really nice job, albeit that little bit of awkward contact between himself and Nash Morris on the third lap of the race. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens post-race, or whether or not Race Control have looked at it and said play on. We'll just wait and see. But as it stands, third on the road. Gray out in front, that gap down to 4.1 seconds, 8.7 seconds further drift. So the 27 car, you would say, will effectively take the lead of the race, or it should take the lead of the race once the sequence is completed.
Yeah, and Cody Bircher and Tim Lay will find themselves right in the fight as well. They're only 1.2 seconds behind the multi-spares Mustang in their BMW. Blake Purdy just a little bit further down the road in the Audi. It's been a good start to the race for them as well. So when do you blink? There is an argument to get your second driver in the car and get them warmed up and good to go and switched on, so that when the leaders pop out and they're still trying to get up to speed, understand the grip, you'll have a little bit of an advantage. And I wonder if Triple Eight take that for summer rental. Here are the Method Motorsport cars. So ignore the blue car, that's completed a pit stop and it's just circulating until all the stops are completed. The battle for position is here between Tom Heyman and Daniel Frugas, and they're still fighting over 8th and 9th position on the road at the moment.
Yeah, that 25 McLaren just hasn't really shown the pace that we thought it would so far in this race, with how strong it's been so far this year.
Still no pit stops yet. Or Method are going to roll the dice first. So the Silver Class Championship leaders bail into pit lane. They're the first of what you'd say the outright contenders for this one to take their mandatory pit stop. 110 seconds on the clock.
Hits the board, pushes it out of the way, and we'll see a driver change here as Maxi Gagan will be climbing aboard the 25.
It's an embarrassment of riches, isn't it, when you can pull Tom Heyman out of your car and plug Max Gagan, GR86 Australia champion, real rising star of the sport, now in the Super 2 series, building a career in motorsport. What a great opportunity for him, though.
So just heard from Motorsport Australia Race Control, Craig Baird. So no further action between the multi-spares Ford Mustang of Aaron Cameron and Nash Morris. So it is play on, no further action.
Well, one side will be happy with that, the other side not. That's the sport. As the leaders continue to lap the margin, 3.7 seconds now. Jared Hughes continues to dig away. You're going to run out of laps soon. Pit stops, you have to be in the lane before the window closes.
Well, how's the sparks coming off the Mercedes there, as he took heaps of curve there at turn number 3, so just bottoming out underneath the car there.
You and I were watching last night a shot of cars going over the back on the hill down at turn 7 and nailing that curve, bottoming out. Rusty?
So the Method Motorsport McLaren leaves, just going past me now. Meantime, Tony Quinn's arrived in the Game Over Supra. I beg your pardon, Matthew McCutcheon has jumped out of that car. Tony Quinn, I should say, about to jump in. Nothing on the radio from Matt McCutcheon in relation to that car. While we've been keeping an eye on that and awaiting its arrival, I've been down with Dean Campbell and the crew waiting for Cameron Crick to come in. Now, the radio kind of communications from Cam have been along the lines of it's just not as sharp, just not as fast as it was in recent races, and they feel like they're a little hamstrung relative to the Porsches. I'll try and get a word with Matty McCutcheon in a moment. In the meantime, the Lubramax Mustang has come in. I'll come back to you because there's lots of activity happening now here in the lane.
Nice work, Rusty. Busy period in the race, and we're getting reports that Randall's Rain may well be here as well. No one's doing tyres at this point. There's the driver change. Nice and relaxed. Got plenty of time in these races, so there's no need to rush and to hurry.
We're not far away, though, from the pit window closing.
I thought you were going to say the rain coming, but you've been saying that for 33 and a half minutes. Jared Hughes now assumes the race lead. So this is an overcut scenario for car number 87. Press on while your rival's in the lane. Purple sectors, try and drive as hard as you can and make up a little bit more track position. They're already going to have a little advantage because they've got a shorter pit stop than the Ford Mustang. Key moment in the race. Whole bunch of cars in. Ryland Gray's in, as we know. Cody Birch is in the lane as well. That's a talking point because he's going to be in the mix when this all shakes out. Like Purdy in the lane, Frugas in the lane, and now the Triple Eight car, the race leader, pits. So they got one extra lap. They went one lap longer than the leaders.
Tell you what, there's a few battle scars on that 87, the right front and the left rear as well. So You can see a bit of damage there on the bottom right front corner of that car.
It's come from 9th, so they've passed some cars.
Got to do something.
Nice little pat there for Summer Rintoul. Remember, had a birthday at Sydney Motorsport Park, 18th birthday, celebrated that with a podium finish. It was such a cool story. Oh, and in the gravel trap at Dandenong Road is car number 20, and that's Jamie Aratoon in the Money Me AR19 car. Can he drive out?
It looked like he was driving out there. And what's happened here, he just got the curb and going right on the wet ripple strip on the way in. But just before we went to that replay, it looked like he was able to get out. So we'll just have to wait and see. Rusty?
You keep me honest there if you need to go back to that incident. Just waiting for the Crick Campbell Mustang to head out. Dean's at the wheel. Cam's here beside us. Give us a little report on that stint. You got a kind of semi-frustrated look on your face.
Yeah, a little bit. We sort of didn't get the greatest of starts. Yeah, the car feels okay in a straight line. Doesn't handle as good as I was hoping, but yeah, I've sort of settled in and did what we can do. Hopefully, Dean gets into a good rhythm and we can finish okay.
Okay, we'll leave you to it. Thank you. Just quickly, the sprinkles of rain, it's not a factor yet. You feel like it's coming?
Nah, I've seen a few spots, but yeah, definitely didn't affect the car or didn't feel wet at all really just yet. So we'll see.
Okay, thank you for talking to us. In the meantime, I can see Aaron Cameron wandering over. The multi-spares Mustang's about to head out. We'll let him grab his helmet off so we can maybe have a quick word with him while we're live here. Just give us a little, just give it a bit went on in that stint. Just give us your take on things.
Yeah, it's a bit crazy out there. It's all going for it. It's cool, all the young guys. But Nash, yeah, turned in on me once at 4 and do it a second time and you're going to get that. So that was good fun. Car's good. So hopefully Ryan can bring it home and get ourselves a nice result in the Silver Am category.
Thank you for talking to us. Probably need to even that ledger there too, guys, and talk and get Nash's side too. Back to you.
Rusty, bit going on. So the Loves Mercedes AMG is stuck down in the gravel trap at Dandenong Road. We're watching and waiting for a rejoin from a leader point of view as well. This is what happened.
Yeah, so he just put a wheel on the wet ripple strip and around it goes and just couldn't get it arrested, couldn't get the speed arrested before it just got into the gravel trap. Whether or not he's just waiting to find a clear part of track to rejoin Crailsy.
So this is the battle for the lead with all the pit stops washed out. Oh wow, and very much damaged and in the gravel trap. And if it wasn't a safety car before, it is now. So the battle for the lead was on. Mediki chasing Tim Lay with Summer Rintoul just in behind, but now we go full safety car. They were giving the Merc all the time in the world to recover. This is what's happened.
Oh no. So under yellow flag conditions, he's ran up the back of, is that Smollen in the number 1? So under waved yellows, made contact and in the gravel. That's not going to be taken very lightly for Motorsport Australia Race Control at all. And I just wanted to touch on Crailsy that Mediki managed to jump the 87 at Jared Hughes. So I don't know whether they had a little bit of a slower pit stop than we thought because that gap was under 5 seconds. Stubbsy?
Thank you. Just catching up here at the moment with Tom Heyman, championship leader. Tom, talk us through that first stint out there for you.
Yeah, it was pretty rough. Obviously, the McLaren's not too strong in a straight line, so it felt like I was just getting my ears boxed in left, right and centre up the back straight. But no, it was a pretty good stint. We stayed out of trouble and just got to the end of the first stint, so pretty good.
This is almost rain now. We were going to say it was spitting, but it's starting to fall a little bit heavier. A safety car now, does that work to your advantage?
Yeah, I think obviously it's going to work. It's going to help us a lot because obviously we fell quite a long way off the lead in the first stint. So yeah, hopefully it'll bring us back to the front and we can start fighting from there.
Good luck, mate.
Thank you.
Chris Stubbs chatting to Tom Heyman, who leads the way in the silver class. This safety car will help them get a little bit more ground back in this race, with Max Gagan now running 7th on the road, 5th in class. So let's just put a full stop on where we're at with that battle coming out of pit lane. Mediki jumped Rintoul, so got that position despite having a little longer pit stop. So Mediki second, Tim Lay and Cody Birch have jumped them all. So Tim Lay is your race leader and the leader in the silver class. Mediki second. The 888 Mercedes AMG is third, so it's BMW, Ford and Mercedes AMG next. Ryan Hansford fourth on the road and leads the Silver Am class. Price in 5th place, having taken over the Nippies Audi. Then it's Jason Gomersall having taken over from Aaron Seaton. He's 6th. Max Gagan, we just heard from his teammate, is 7th. Tim Berryman has taken over from Frugus in the Toyota, is 8th and finally gets in front of the sister Toyota, with Tony Quinn now behind the wheel in 9th position, and Jake Camilleri has climbed to 10th place. He was one of the early stoppers. We're under the control of the BMW M safety car for 2 cleanups down at Dandenong Road. One of them is Rob Love, who's in that red and white Mercedes AMG. The other is Glenn Walker, who's 4th in the AM class, and a couple of podiums this year. Contact with the back of Shane Smollen's Porsche under brakes, and that yellow flag, double waved yellow scenario down there at Dandenong Road. So a fair bit happened in a short space of time. There's 18 minutes to go in this one. We'll get the clean-up done and then we'll go back to racing.
A couple of things I just wanted to touch on there, Crailsy. The lap 2 incident between Nash Morris and Ryder Quinn at turn 2. No further action from race control. And then, as we already touched on, the next lap incident between Morris and Aaron Cameron, no further action. Both were deemed the car on the inside was far up enough to warrant an overtake. And the second one that I'm a little curious of, I want to get your thoughts on this, Crailsy. The 27 car of Hansford, I thought that they might have jumped the Mediki and Hughes cars because they didn't have any pit stop compensation time. So I'm a little curious as to how they've ended up behind, whether just didn't have a quick enough outlap potentially. Not quite sure how that's happened, but either way, Mediki's managed to hang on to being in the top 2.
Well, we'll throw that out into the ether and see if we get an answer. Now, this is interesting. From Method Motorsport, they've elected to pit behind the safety car, which is sensible, and they're going to chuck some wet tyres on this car by the looks of it.
It's not a bad idea, to be fair, because you're going to lose less time under safety car, even though if you're changing tyres, it's a mandatory time, but they might be able to get that done before the field come round. Otherwise,
well, they're way out of contention, so they're right down the back of the field. They were the first of the cars to pit. It's young Lachlan Hennock behind the wheel of this car. He's been pretty speedy all season long.
Got nothing to lose.
No, I don't mind it. Roll the dice, why not? And if you get a massive torrential downpour with 10 minutes to go, you're going to look like a superstar.
Especially if you're changing tyres under yellow rather than at full speed. So why not have a gamble? The problem is, I guess, if the gamble doesn't pay off, you're going to be pitting for slicks. But why not?
I think you get 15 minutes, including some safety car time out of a set of Pirelli wets, so in dry conditions. So they're 20th position on the road. So we take a breath, and the BMW M safety car leads the way around a big cleanup. The Ford Raptor Ranger recovery vehicle is on the scene as well.
Not much room to get all those cars through there with the way that tilt tray's parked up. So you're going to have to be putting all the cars on the curb, maybe even a bit of grass on the inside there to get everyone through. But a bit awkward having those 2 cars needing the cleanup there. And both, well, separate incidents. The second one being the questionable incident. But unfortunately, Rob Love getting caught out just on that wet curb. Easy to do, and just couldn't get it out of there. Couldn't get it out of the gravel trap. But as it stands, we've got just over 15 minutes remaining in this race. Tim Lay out in the lead from Mediki, Hughes, Hansford, Price, Gomersall, Gagan, Berryman, Quinn, Camilleri and Zoe Woods.
So that's a good recovery, isn't it? Remember that car pointing backwards at turn 4. No further action judged by the umpire on that one. So a great recovery to 11th place.
Considering they were all the way down in 21st position after that incident at turn 4 on lap 3. So
I want your take on Aaron Cameron's little comments to Rusty.
Pretty spicy.
Bearing in mind that in 2 weeks you'll be at Queensland Raceway racing with Aaron Cameron on the same grid, so be kind. But yeah, interesting comments, fairly straightforward.
Yeah, I think that's fair enough. So be keen to hear what Nash Morris has to say on the matter. But to be fair, Nash, the lap before, was involved in pretty much the same thing, but roles were reversed.
Quinn, exactly.
So then we'll probably want to hear from Ryder Quinn, hear what he has to say. So yeah, I don't think that BMW will be getting back on its own steam. That definitely needs to go on that flatbed that's waiting for it. Rusty?
Performance, Chaz Mostert just outside his garage as Method Motorsport, just around the corner from us. So you've seen them make that gamble and go to wet weather tyres because they can with that car. So here is the radar that they've been watching here at MPC. So if we put the dart on the dot, Springvale. There we are here. So you can see that the cloud cover is just going around us at the moment. So we're getting these tempting, as we said before, sort of sprinkles of rain, but not enough for worry at the moment. Will that gamble pay off? We're about to find out.
The will they, won't they rain story, it just never gets old. You never want to be the guy doing it, but it's fun.
No.
Especially at this place, isn't it? Keeps you guessing.
How many times have we seen gambles that do and don't pay off, even up to Formula One level?
Oh, absolutely.
Just go back to Silverstone a few weeks ago.
Don't mind making the call, though. So they've got the slippery surface flag out down there at Dandenong Road as well. So they'll get Glenn Walker's car out of the way. He's had 4 podium finishes, top 3 finishes this year in the AM class, and sits 4th in the championship. Quite a bit of damage on the right front corner. Broken upright by the looks of it, lower control arm perhaps on the front, and there'll be some radiator damage too on the BMW. So now this car's on the flatbed, they'll be able to get the Rob Love Mercedes recovered, and then we'll be able to go back to racing. There's 12.5 minutes give or take to go in this one, plus the 1 lap at the end. So I would expect we'll go back to racing. It will be a short, sharp sprint, and there's going to be a huge fight. Tim Lay will not be giving up track position. Had a class win at Queensland Raceway. Tim Lay, yet to win a race outright this year. A couple of second outrights, but had a silver class win in race 1 at Queensland Raceway. But he would love to get the checkered flag first of everybody with the man from Orange.
Here's the Smollen car. I'm just curious to see, he's been able to survive that contact that Walker had when he ran at the back of the car. So the number 1 getting away with it there. And he's down in 4th place outright.
They build them tough in Stuttgart. The 718 Cayman GT4. Shane Smollen, who missed the opening round of the championship because he was running a GT3 Porsche with EMA Motorsport with Dorian Boccolacci as his co-driver. So didn't score at Phillip Island, but has come back since and won 3 times in the AM class and had an enormous performance at Queensland Raceway. We didn't just win AM, he won the whole thing in race 1. And he's rocketed up to 2nd position in the AM class outright. Car number 1, 4th in class at the moment, Shane. He wears number 1 because he is the defending champion as well.
This is something cool that you'd like. This was from a little bit earlier on.
You've been queuing this up, haven't you? I'm looking forward to seeing this.
Look at that. Isn't that a great shot? The sparks flying underneath the Mercedes, taking plenty of curb, and that lighting that we've got just really shows it. I think that's fantastic.
It's very cool. The variety of cars in Monochrome GT4 Australia. They are spectacular racing cars. Good news is it's all cleaned up down at Dandenong Road, so we shouldn't, Chris Stubbs, be too far away from a race restart.
Not too far away, but we just want to put a full stop on the earlier incident. He's got a bit of a wry smile on his face, Nash Morris. He hasn't heard what Aaron Cameron had to say earlier on, but your take on the incident with him. There's a bit going on early in this one.
Yeah, obviously I had my mirror folded in from an earlier incident, but I think I just turned in on him, to be fair, so probably on me. But yeah, we live and we learn. It's a bit of a rookie mistake on my behalf.
Okay, Ryder Quinn as well, a bit of contact there. It was all happening.
I feel like it was kind of the roles reversed there. I feel like I was up there and I wasn't left much room on the curb there, but yeah, I haven't really seen it yet, so I don't want to put the blame on anyone, so we'll just do our best in the race and then try again tomorrow.
All right, talk to us about this safety car. It looks like there could be a bit of rain coming as well. What's Zoe got underneath her out there at the moment?
Yeah, we should be pretty good. We had some good pace out there, so she's really smart racer. Not like me in that race, but no, she'll be right. She'll just get her eyes forward and go forward.
Very honest and perhaps a little too self-critical, Nash Morris there. Nash, thanks for your time. Great to see you.
Thank you. See ya.
Oh, well done, Stubbsy. That is outstanding from Nash Morris. Put the hand up. The mirror was in. We saw on the replay, so verify that. You don't see what's in your periphery going in there to turn 4. So, well done. Honest to a fault. The young Nash and Zoe there in the middle of shot looking to recover. Safety car in this lap. So there's going to be about 8 minutes of racing left, plus 1 racing lap at the end.
And none of these drivers have actually done a lap in anger yet.
A good point, well made. So they've all come out of pit lane. They're pressed on to try and get that track position that they were all looking for as the field sorted itself out. And then immediately we went full course yellow and safety car.
Well, actually, there's a couple of drivers. Camilleri, Smollen, I think a couple of more that are one driver combinations. But, Jacob Lawrence, they've all they all know what it's like to do the first half of the race, but when you get thrown in the deep end, Crailsey, and you go straight into a safety car condition, it can be a little challenging to get up to speed and get in the groove and get the momentum going when you haven't gone straight into green flag running.
This has got big written all over it. These next 8 minutes plus a lap or two. Here at the place they used to call Big Bad Sandown. What does it deliver at the end of a compelling opening race in Monochrome GT4 Australia? The 7th race of the championship year, the start of the second half of the season. The vastly experienced Tim Lay leads the vastly experienced George Miedeke, and the teenager Summer Rintoul in 3rd position. Ryan Hansford is 4th, Price 5th in the Audi. A bunch of different marks, different drivers from all walks of life lead them back to green.
He's waiting
at Sandown. He can wait until he gets to the control line. I think he's pushed the button though. Away we go. Racing to the flag in Monochrome GT4. Miedeke with a good jump. Lay moves him over, but George is a long way down the inside here. And could this be a move that potentially puts them to the lead of the championship? George Miedeke back in front, right where Ryland Gray handed him that race car.
Keep an eye on Maxi Gagan as well. I think he's just gone down the inside of Gomersall into turn number 2. There's a massive moment for Gagan. Has he managed to save that? Down the inside, I think, of Price now. So this could be another move potentially for Gagan. And he does have the inside line for turn number 6, but that was a wild moment on the exit curb there.
He was very close to parking a McLaren in the horse racing track. He had such a big moment coming out of turn 3. Somehow hang on to it, and he'll get this place on Price. Down the inside, Gagan up to 5th place on the road and 4th of the silver class cars.
Now he's down the inside of Hansford, and that's for position number 4. So that's 4 spots he's made up on this restart. Next in line, Summer Rintoul for 3rd place. Then it's Tim Lay, and then George Miedeke. There's a move in the background for Price. I think that's on Gomersall, maybe?
There's a move in the foreground.
There's been contact in the background, and I think Gomersall's gone round.
There's a move in the foreground because this amazing lap from Max Gagan on the restart gets him up into 3rd position. Facing the wrong way is Ryan Hansford. So there was stuff going on behind. We followed that battle to get onto the podium. Max Gagan, what a restart this has been for the Method Motorsport driver. And what it might do is allow them to cling on to the series lead overnight going into race 2 tomorrow.
Yeah, before the pit stops, they were down in 8th position, and that
would have cost them the championship lead too.
Absolutely, and while that battle was going on, there was a contact between Price and Hansford, and is that the Supra going wide at turn number 4? That's Quinn as well. So let's just see if we can get a look at what's happened here down into turn 1. So,
team cars.
Oh no, don't tell me they've come together. That's the last thing you want is 2 team cars coming together. That's the 20 of Ayrton and the 19 of Griffith, and gets back going again.
Nikolowski got away with it. He was the one that walked away. Big moment for the AR19 Motorsport squad. Back to 3 cars this weekend. Miedeke out in front, 2.9 seconds. And now the McLaren locks onto the back of the BMW. Germany versus the UK from a manufacturer point of view. And Gagan is absolutely flying.
He's going to go for a move here, I reckon. Yep. Send it down the inside. Tim Lay turns it round. Tim Lay goes round at turn number 1.
Enormous moment in the context of the championship. The leader in the silver class has turned around. The 2nd place car in the race, 3rd in the championship. That is enormous.
Oh, that was a close rejoin as well there. Lucky not to make contact with anyone, but it's the last thing that Gagan needed while he was on such a recovery drive. See a replay here, going down a late lunge into turn 1. Tim Lay's turned in, and was he far enough up there, Crailsey? I'm not sure. What do you think?
Oh, I think the weight of history would probably suggest not. Seen lesser penalised at that corner over the years at Sandown. Well, it's up to smarter brains than ours upstairs to manage that one.
It was a late decision there for Gagan to go down the inside. And he's done all that hard work, hadn't he? Getting himself up into the top 3 positions. Whether or not he should have just been a little bit more patient there, Kralsey, because even a top 3 result is great for the points scenario.
And there's so much more on the line than just finishing second in this race. It could be the series lead. If he gets penalised, car 20 is getting penalised 15 seconds.
As 25 goes off, Gagan goes off at turn 1. Now, whether or not there's some rain or if he's just outbroken himself, but the same corner where there was contact between himself and Tim Lay, he's just gone a little bit wide there at turn 1. So there's, if we just have a look down the order, so Tim Lay has dropped to 9th out of all that. So I would say Race Control will be making a decision probably not too far in the distant future on that one. But
the stewards have just handed down, so 15 seconds for Jamie Aratoon in that moment we saw 3 or 4 minutes ago down at turn 1. Still a bit to play out in this. The team that stands to benefit could be the 888 Race Engineering Mercedes that currently sits in 3rd place with Summer Ritzel behind the wheel, Jason Gomersal as well. This is Jake Camilleri on the back of Tim Berryman. Now Berryman is chasing Jason Gomersal in the SS Science Mustang, and that will be for the lead in the Silver Am class. So there is a race win in class on the line here as well. 15-second time penalty, Max Gagan, for contact to driving infringement with Tim Lay. So they've been pretty quick in handing down judgment, and he'll get 15 seconds added to his race time. So 6 seconds behind the lead, so that takes him to about 20 seconds behind. At the moment, he's 6th or 7th at the end. So in the end, it doesn't cost him an enormous amount of time. We'll see how it plays out at the end.
And as it stands, he'll actually finish in front of Tim Lay.
Oh, the irony.
So does the it's that old question: does the penalty fit the crime? But that's the rule book we play to, and I think we saw that one coming. So yeah, that's cost them a 2nd place result. But in the end, it could have been a lot more costly.
This battle we're watching here is for a class victory. Jason Gomersal being chased down by Tim Berryman in the Supra, so that is for Silver Am. They're 4th and 5th on the road. Chris Lillis, 7th outright. Am class leader in the Porsche. Haven't they had a spectacular day?
Absolutely cracking job. And the next closest Am car is 14th outright. And if we look at the times, he's 10 seconds back. So Lillis, I mean, they've been doing a great job ever since qualifying. They had plenty of pace in the 777 Porsche. Haven't put a foot wrong. And you know who hasn't put a foot wrong is the 35 Ford Mustang of George Medicki and Rylan Gray out in front. Just under 1.5 minutes remaining in this one. Summer Rintel's doing a great job as well. 3rd outright, not too far back from Maxi Gagan. And then we look back at Gomersal, sharing that car with Aaron Seaton. They've had a great drive as well so far in this race.
So Summer Rintel and Jared Hughes are going to finish 2nd in this if they can bring it home. That will be the 3rd time they've done that this year. A lot of consistency in the Mercedes AMG, just trying to sneak through for that first Silver Class win that has eluded them so far. This is the Am Class leader, Chris Lillis. Team WA have done an outstanding job.
Well, it's definitely raining now because we've dropped about 5 seconds a lap in terms of pace. Not severe rain, but if I'm George Medicki, I'm thinking, thank goodness there's only 30 seconds plus a lap remaining in this one. There's the queue of cars here, Kralsey.
This has got action written all over it.
Look at the damage on the front of the, is that the Lockheed Dalton?
You've been very good at spotting damage on the front of Mercedes today. Steve Jackick in the middle of all this in that orange BMW, 13th. Jacob Lawrence, 2nd in the Am class. So Jackick looking down the inside now of Ben Newman, the Tasmanian. Buckby Motors Racing.
Yeah, that's got a lot of damage on the front of the Ben Newman car. So as he goes now back down the inside of the BMW, that could...
actively stepped away from the television when that was happening. Glenn Irwin's just in front of all of this in the Tough Lift racing car he shares with Zach Suter. In fact, they've done a nice job. They're going to be 3rd in Silver Am. Correction, 4th, because they're behind Tony Quinn, who's using all of that experience. Rylan Gray watches on.
I think he'd be feeling pretty relieved at this point in time. So it'll be, I would say, this lap plus 1 more for the field, as the clock had hit 0 about 27 seconds ago. And all he needs to do, Mr. George Medicki, is just control the pace now. No risk. Take it nice and easy. He's got a 6-second buffer, which is really a 10-second buffer, because Maxi Gagan will be getting that extra 15-second time penalty. And penalty, and as it stands, that will drop him to, around about that 7th position.
Yeah, just in front of Tim Lay, the guy who turned around at turn 1. What a performance it's been for this squad, looking for their 3rd win of the season, looking to drag themselves towards a championship lead. There'll be 1 lap remaining in Monochrome GT4 Australia. Medicki, Max Gagan next, lights ablaze in the McLaren, 5.8 seconds behind the leader, but carrying a 15-second time penalty. Summer Rintoul is next in 3rd position. The rain falls at Sandown. Gomersall and Berryman continue their fight for the Silver Am class. Just a few tenths between them. Here they are down into turn 1 with Camilleri in behind. So can the Supra find a way past Jason Gomersall? Tim Berryman's been racing for a long time. Open wheelers especially. He said to me early in the weekend, I've had to get my brain around using curbs. Normally I come to Sandown and steer away from the Gomersall. Class leader spins all on his own.
Oh, that's an awkward spot to be waiting. Hopefully he can get that. He can rejoin, thankfully, in a safe manner, and he just drops it on the curb there. Very similar to what we saw with Love down at Dandenong Road, as there's, I think that's the Porsche of Zoe Woods having a moment in the background.
Yeah, the rain is real. So too is this result. It's going to be a very big result indeed. A 3rd win of the season. George Medicki and Ryland Gray survive everything that Sandown has to throw at them today, and they will win race 1 at Sandown. Monochrome GT4 Australia Series winners. Max Gagan was spectacular, ultimately a little too much and gets penalised. And across the line, what will ultimately be 2nd place is Summer Rintoul and Jared Hughes. Tim Berryman, there's the Supra. They're going to end up 3rd outright. They win the Silver Am class. He and Daniel Frugas, well done to the Supra team in GWR Australia. They're having a really good day. They won in the Radicals earlier on. Tim Lay across the line, 6 across. Jason Gomersall next. Zoe Woods, 8th position for TechWorks.
Great recovery from that team.
Glenn Nerwin just behind Tony Quinn, 9th and 10th on the road as they cross the line.
And I think Gagan will drop into about 5th position.
The other change that we've had is for the Am class win. Where's the 777 Porsche? The answer is it's yet to, it has crossed the line, but it's got massive damage. It's got a right rear that's disappeared, and they have disappeared from the class lead.
Oh, no.
They're a lap away from winning the Am class.
They had 10 seconds margin over the 32 of Jacob Lawrence, so...
Chris Lillis will limp the car home after a standout performance for he and Nathan Callahan. 3rd in the championship, and they were looking for their 1st race win of the season. Denied with inside of the checkered flag. Incredible drama in Monochrome GT4 Australia today. Ultimately, the win goes to Ryland Gray and George Medicki. The Method Motorsport car, so at 16 seconds to their race time, they're going to pop up in 6th place, I think, at the end of all of that. Ironically, just in front of Cody Bertram and Tim Lay, potentially. Aaron Seaton, solid there, but GWR Australia win the Silver Am class. Jacob Lawrence gets another victory in the Am class, and that's important because Shane Smolin had scythed his championship lead right down. Well, he's extended it now. Highlights, Monochrome GT4 Australia. It was a wild one from lap 1, turn 1. And they were boxing on in the opening stage. Young Jay Murray, unfortunately, in his first ever car race, spun on the inside. Then this, the first of 2 quite controversial moments involving Nash Morris in the TechWorks Porsche. One of them he owned, the other one he said it was probably the other way around. And there were moments of plenty early in this one.
There were indeed. So both of those with no further action. There's that awesome shot of the 87 Jared Hughes Mercedes getting some sparks. And just before that, we saw that massive moment for Bircher off turn 4, losing a couple of spots. And that was what brought out the BMW M safety car. Love going around. A little bit of damage on the 87, but you know what? To go from 9th up to 2nd, fair enough. You need a few battle scars. And then we had our pit stop sequence. Medicki managing to stay in front.
Well, this started a series of unfortunate events. Rob Love backed in. A lap later, Walker in the BMW, who was just in front of Rob Love when he spun a lap earlier, got into the back of Shane Smolin. Big damage, buried. BMW M safety car, Ford Raptor Ranger recovery, restart, craziness between the 3 teammates. The 20 car penalised for that. And then this, arguably the biggest moment of the race. from a championship point of view. Max Gagan, contact up the inside. And then this was race-defining in the Silver AM class as Jason Gomersall spins out of the lead and hands it to Tim Berryman. What a wild sequence of events in Monochrome GT4 Australia. The celebration, though, Greg Rust, is down at the Lubramax Mustang camp.
And Victory Lane is all about the class winners, the 3 class winners. And in outright terms, it's these two, Ryland Gray, George Miedeke. Congratulations, what a race.
Thank you, mate. Yeah, that was a good one. I knew on that restart I had to act pretty quickly on Timmy, and but the car was great. The Miedeke Motorsport team did a great job with the Mustang, and it was a pleasure to drive.
Just quickly, what was the last few laps like? I mean, we've had question marks about rain the entire race. Was it a worry?
No, it was. Like, I was slowing down there towards the end just to be a little bit cautious. But to be honest, that whole thing was set up by Ryland. I mean, what a fantastic first stint. He put his head down, didn't make any mistakes. We ran him long because he was just so speedy, and that's what gave us the track position to offset that penalty. So really, really happy with his performance, and showing everyone why he's the next big thing all over again.
Well done, nice endorsement. I mean, within the calibre of competition that's here, that must feel pretty good.
Yeah, it feels very good. I just put my head down at the start. I knew we had the penalty, so just pump out fast laps was the main goal, and I did that, and handed over to George. Done a fabulous job, no mistakes, and brought it home in the #1 place.
Are you both starting to think a big picture here now?
Yeah, definitely. We're getting to the second half of the year now, so that sort of starts to creep in, but at the same time, you need to put your best foot forward every race. So that's what we'll try to do, and try to be there in the end.
All smiles in the Lubramax Ford camp. Congratulations.
Thank you, mate.
All right, we go now to Tim Berryman and Daniel Frugas, and from a Supra standpoint, we've been kind of tempted and teased with the performance of these machines. That's awesome. Well done.
Definitely. We've showed a lot of potential throughout the year, but it's great. It came together today, and bashing it over some curbs was pretty fun. And yeah, from 14th to 3rd outright, I don't think we can complain. Tim did an awesome job, and we're both ecstatic.
As you should be. I mean, to bring it all together like that, in these sort of conditions at a place like this.
Yeah, no, it's been a great race. We've had a ball. The weekend's sort of been a bit up and down until now, and to put it all together, 3rd outright and 1st in class is, it's a big thank you to GWR Racing, and Dan's done a fantastic job, so we're over the moon.
All right, well done, and hopefully you can repeat that again tomorrow. Where's Jacob Lawrence? He should be with us. I think he's right behind. I've got to walk a little bit, so stand by down here, because it all changed, as Richard Crail talked about there within moments. You and I spoke yesterday in the grandstand about the dream and starting with a kind of a club car and a bit of fun, and here we are.
That's it, mate. Must have been a good luck interview, I reckon. So I might hit you up for one of them every round.
Tell me about the race itself. I mean, obviously a bit unfolded with inside of the flag there, but you've got to put yourself in that position to capitalise when that happens, don't you?
That's right. It was just sort of head down the whole race. Then the safety car bunched us all up, and it was pretty crazy out there for a second until we were bunched up, bloody bumping off each other and that. But I just want to say credit to Chris Lewis and Nathan Gallahan. They've been on it all weekend, and unfortunate what happened to them. So send my regards out.
But well done. I mean, that's a very sportsman thing that you've done there. Well done to you and everyone at Randall Racing, and I hope you can do it all again tomorrow.
Awesome. Thank you. Fingers crossed.
There you go. Fingers crossed. We need a break here. We've got a lot more to come your way, though, live here at Sandown. Stick around.